I'm Sarah coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic, sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1935, Serenity Sunday Genealogy Tips. Actually, hang on, I gotta cross this one off first. Let's cross that one off. Yes. Otherwise, I get confused on my numbers. So, how you all doing? Like my Shrek? Like my Shrek is? I was cleaning out. So I'm busy sorting through boxes and everything else ready for our move to New Zealand next year. And I found these. I figured. So yesterday during our mastermind group, I was wearing them. Then I had a different meeting to go to, so I had taken them off. And tonight I thought, I'm just going to put them back on again. I'm wearing green. I'm in a Shrek mode. Oh, hello, Zeffy girl. You see her tail here. He's so funny. And I totally forgot that yesterday was our 5-year gotcha date for Zeffy girl. Did you just take off with your? She's got a biscuit that she keeps leaving around the place. She's going to go find a new place to hide it now. Yeah, there she goes. Totally forgot that yesterday was Zeffy's 5-year gotcha date. 5 years ago yesterday, I adopted Zeffy. It was a really cool day. It was awesome. So if you want to see a really cool little video that I put together, go to my Facebook page. It's on there. No, don't put it there because that's the trash, sweetie. Oh, okay. You got it next to the trash can. You got it next to the trash can, not in the trash can. You sure you want to leave it there? Are you putting it there to remind me I got to take the trash out? That's Sunday. Go take trash out. Anyway. So, yeah, go check out the video that's on my Facebook page regarding Zeffy and her gotcha date. There's just some pictures from the last 5 years. It's just under 3 minutes. Apparently now you can do short videos that are up to 3 minutes in length now, but I'm not exactly sure which platform that was on. Not sure if that's across all platforms or just on one. I don't know. But I will be uploading it to the YouTube channel as well. So anyway, Serenity Sunday, genealogy tips for today. Here's my question for you today. If you could spend a peaceful afternoon with one of your ancestors, who would you choose and what questions would you ask them? That gets you thinking a little bit about some of the things that you have learned about your ancestors. So which one do you want to go and spend an afternoon with? Doesn't that bring up some interesting thoughts? So genealogy tips for Serenity Sunday. Okay, we've got 9 of them, I think. Hang on. Nope, I've got more. I've got 12. All right, so we could take a break from active research, step back from the hustle of finding records. There are times that I do have to do this. My brain just gets so filled with information that I get to the point where I'm no longer absorbing what I am reading. So I have to take a step back. So taking a step back from the hustle of finding records and take time to reflect on your discoveries so far. This is when some of the ideas, as everything starts getting absorbed and I start processing everything, this is where I start taking notes. I start thinking, oh, let me go check this. Let me go check that. And enjoy the stories you've already uncovered. I know there's a lot of stories out there on your family tree, as I know there's many more that I haven't uncovered yet on my family tree, but enjoy the stories that you already have uncovered. Sorry, I was eating popcorn earlier. That little husky bit's stuck in my teeth. You can review your family tree with fresh eyes. Spend time looking over your family tree calmly and without pressure. You're not doing any active research. You're just having a look over it. You might notice patterns, connections, or details that you've previously overlooked. Don't do it in an area that you've recently been active in. Look at an area that you have not been active in so that you can, because maybe it's time to move from the active area to the inactive area, just to give you a different perspective on things. Number 3, you could write a letter to an ancestor. Use today to write a reflective letter to one of your ancestors. Express gratitude for their sacrifices or reflect on how their choices shaped your life today. You know, if your ancestors migrated from Europe over to America or Canada, or Australia, New Zealand, why did they do that? How did that affect you today? You know, if my ancestors stayed in England, I'd be British instead of Kiwi. So, see, there's different things. Maybe I'd be in America. Maybe my ancestors decided to come to America instead of New Zealand. Who knows? Have that conversation with them in a letter. Focus on preservation. Use this quiet day to preserve precious family items. Safely store photos, documents, or heirlooms to ensure they're protected for future generations. Sometimes you'll be cleaning things, going through and cleaning things out, and you suddenly come across a whole bunch of stuff, and you're like, oh, I totally forgot I had that. Oh, better get that preserved, better get that done, get that. I've got a whole box of documents that I've got to scan. Yeah. I don't want them getting lost in the move, but if they do get lost in the move, at least I'll have the scanned copies of them. That's all I can say. Number 5, you could create a family reflection journal. Start a journal documenting your personal thoughts and feelings about your genealogy journey. Reflect on what you've learned about your family and yourself. This is a great way where you can start writing your family history. When you're reflecting on things that you come across, like if you come across some weird occupation that one of your ancestors had on a census report, you could learn more about that occupation and state, in here, my fourth great grand uncle had this particular job. Nobody else in the family had it or did it. And I had to go look up what this particular job was, because it could be a term that you don't know. And this is what I discovered about it. So write stuff about, it's a family reflection journal. So write things about documenting your thoughts and feelings about the journey and what things that you've learned so far. You could also explore spiritual or cultural roots. Serenity Sunday is a great time to learn more about your ancestors' spiritual beliefs, traditions, and cultural practices. These insights can deepen your connection to their lives. How do you find out about what their spiritual beliefs were, their traditions, and things like that? Why did they come to America? That would be a big clue. Where did they come from, and where did they come from? At what time did they arrive in it? What time period did they arrive in America or wherever they went? Why would they have, what was going on in their home country that led them to either flee or just move from that country? It could be they were under religious persecution. We know there's a lot of Jewish that moved around a lot because of they were being persecuted at times. Maybe that is the reason that they moved to the States. They wanted to feel safe. What countries did they come from? What traditions did they have? What cultural practices did they keep doing? You'll be able to find out information about this in newspapers, in journals. Newspapers will report on local cultural events. All of a sudden my curtain rod's squeaking. Local cultural events that are taking place that your ancestors may have participated in. It could be they came over here because of religious beliefs. Now, when you find the religious beliefs, this can help direct you where to find records as well. If you're looking in local parish records and you can't find anything, maybe it's because they weren't of a Christian faith. It could be that they were of a Jewish faith. Was there a synagogue around that you could go and inquire and see if they have any records? They may have records there for naming ceremonies. The rabbis may have their records for places that they visited for naming ceremonies that weren't done in the temple, that were done somewhere else, So this can be a clue as to where to go and help you look as well. If they're in parish records, what was the religion of the parish? There's different ways that you can find this information out. So take the time, when they get married, where did they get married? Did they get married in a church? Of what faith? Or did they get married in a synagogue? Of what faith? Use this time when you're looking, when you're exploring your ancestors' spiritual beliefs, traditions, and cultural practices to learn a little bit more about them. And maybe generations later that you had no idea that they had these particular cultural practices at the time, or you didn't realize that they were of this particular religion, which is no longer practiced in your family. When did that stop? Why did that stop? So just explore a little more on that one. You could meditate on number 7, meditate on family traditions. Spend time appreciating the family traditions passed down through generations, whether they're recipe, holiday customs, shared values. Maybe it could be, your holiday customs. We've got the holidays coming up right now. Great time to look at what are the family traditions. Are there some ornaments that have been passed down through generations? Maybe there's some ornaments on the Christmas tree that have been passed down through generations, or ornaments on the Christmas tree that not have only been passed down through generations, but celebrate baby's first birthday, first Christmas as a married couple, things like this. Look for those ornaments, look for those heirloom ornaments that have been passed down through generations. What are the stories behind those ornaments, and share them. Number 8, share a family story with someone else. Reflecting on a peaceful Sunday, reach out to a relative and share a meaningful family story or memory. It's a great way to connect and strengthen bonds with other family members. I'm looking forward to this. I know I've got a couple of cousins who want to know more about Granddad. Being one of the oldest grandchildren, I was the second oldest grandchild on my dad's side of the family, the oldest on my mum's side of the family, and the second oldest on my dad's side of the family by 3 months. I had a cousin who was born on the 9th of October. I was born on the 9th of December. So she's got me by a couple of months there, but that's okay. We have great times together. But there's a couple of younger cousins who were very small, or just babies, or weren't even born when Granddad was around. And they keep hearing us talking about these stories that Granddad used to tell us. And they want to know what their grandfather was like. And I'm happy to. And so this is going to be a time where I can turn around and share these stories with them. I remember we have a family photo that I almost wasn't in, but it was touch and go whether I would make it to Auckland for Christmas that year. And I had a cousin who was 24 days old. So we have my grandfather sitting in a chair holding my 24-day-old cousin. The rest of us are all spread around. And at family photos, none of us ever had a camera. And this was back in the 80s. None of us ever had a camera that had a self-timer on it. So somebody would always have to step out to take the photo. Then they would switch with somebody else who would then go and take the photo so they could be in a photo. We didn't have Photoshop then, so we couldn't Photoshop them in together. So whenever we took family photographs, we always had somebody who was missing out of the picture because they were the one taking the picture. So, share stories like that. Share stories about different Christmases that you remember with the families and things. It's a great way to connect. And with the holidays coming up, great time to be sharing stories about the holiday, about different holidays that you've had with family members who are no longer with us. Sorry, itchy eye. Shea butter. I tell you, I love shea butter. My hands are just so dry and cracked today. I was cleaning my kitchen. So they've been treated with some shea butter. Ooh, I love the smell of that stuff. Anyway, where are we up to? Number 9, create a gratitude list for your ancestors. Write down things you are thankful for about your ancestors' lives, resilience, decisions that they made. This simple act can bring a sense of serenity and appreciation on your past, of something that is now part of you, because you always carry around inside you everybody who has come before you. You have a little piece of everybody who has come before you that you carry with you all the time. This is a way to appreciate, find appreciation for those little pieces that you carry with you from your ancestors that have been passed down through the generations to you. Remember, we were talking about, what happened to my piece of paper? I've lost my piece of paper. I had my piece of paper that had all my numbers up here. Remember, there's over 4,000 people, just in 12 generations, there's over 4,000 people that created you. And that's just in the first 12 generations. So think about that. I don't know the exact number. I had it on a piece of paper up here, but I switched out the monitor and I need to find the adapter for this thing. But I had it listed there that there's over 4,000 people in 12 generations that created you. You have a piece of over 4,000 people just from 12 generations inside you. That's just going back 12 generations. There's still those generations before that come before that. So there's a lot of people involved in you being here today. Give them some gratitude. Be thankful for them. Be thankful for the adversities that they overcome, for the triumphs that they had, for the knockdowns that they went through, the challenges, how they got past different challenges in their lives, the decisions that they made. Be thankful to your ancestors for those things that they did for you to be here today. Number 10, reconnect with nature. If possible, visit a cemetery or place of significance tied to your family history. Use time to reflect on their lives and your connection to them. I love walking through cemeteries. Even if I have no ancestors buried in a cemetery, there's just something so serene and peaceful about a cemetery when you're walking through there and you see all these stories and these people before you, and you wonder about their dash. Have you ever read the story The Dash? It's a phenomenal story about, you've got your birth date and you've got your death date, but what really matters is how you live the dash that's in between those two dates. So as you're walking around, some people put a lot of detail on tombstones. Some put just the basics. There's one tombstone that's next to my husband. It was the reason I couldn't find I went to the cemetery. Last time I visited the cemetery to go and visit Brad, I walked down and I'm like looking for her because I knew what his headstone looked like, and I'm looking for it because it's flat on the ground. It's in the lawn area. And I'm looking and I know which one I have to look for because then I know that his is down one and across. and I couldn't find the one that I usually look for, which has this beautiful black with the gray with the gray font on it. And there's a picture of this young girl on there. I think she's in her 30s, and there's a little story there about her. But I couldn't find Brad's grave, and I'm like, where is it? And I got down a little further, and I knew I was too far down. And I'd walked down the center aisle, and I know that is either one or two from he's either one or two before the aisle that were empty prior to that. So I knew. So of course, I'm like, it had been a while since I visited the cemetery. So then I moved over a bit and started walking up, and I ended up walking in line with his tomb, with his headstone there. And I got to his headstone, and I went, oh my gosh. And I just sat down there and cried because I couldn't believe I'd forgotten where he was buried. It just hit me so hard. And then I looked next to I'm looking at his headstone here, and on the right hand side, on the right hand side here, there was this big slab of granite that covered the entire plot. And it had this woman's entire story written on her tombstone. And it was interesting just sitting there reading that story about this woman while I was sitting there with Brad. And I was just sitting there apologizing to him that I had lost him temporarily because I couldn't find his grave, because there was this big granite slab there, which I had seen. And that's what distracted me from seeing his headstone right next to it. I couldn't see his headstone there. So that kind of shocked me a little bit that I'd forgotten. So now I know to look out for the big full plot piece of slab of granite that's right there. And I know that Brad's just the other side of that one. But yeah, so it's, it's going to the cemeteries, it's walking through the cemeteries, it's having that connection with them. But even if you've got like a significant place, that could be a favorite park that you guys all would go to. You'd have family gatherings there. You'd have picnics. I know there's some parks that have like pavilions and things that you can reserve and rent out and stuff. And you have like a family get together for a big family picnic or something like that. Maybe there's a park there like that you want to go through and reflect about, some of the things that have happened in that park. But I love walking through cemeteries. I love reading headstones and tombstones and all of them. And if there happens to be relatives there, then I like going by and visiting them and saying hi. And I do. I go and I visit and I say, hi, how you doing? They're obviously dead. And I know I shouldn't make fun of the dead. That's, for some cultures, consider that disrespectful. So my apologies for that. But I go and have conversations with them and talk about what I have. And I talk about what I have learned about their life so far, and go, if there's any way that you want to send me some message somehow of some story that you really want us to know, I know you will send me the signs to follow in order to discover that story. So, and I ask them, is there a story that you want us to bring to light to let the rest of the family know about? Or is there just a story that you want to share with me? And I will tell you this, there is a book, it's called, it's out on my kitchen table. It's called In the Footsteps of Your Ancestors. No. Oh, what's it called? But it's all about how people find records, find graves, find stories about people who have passed. And it's just a series of circumstances that come along, of coincidences. There's no such thing as coincidences. I don't believe in coincidences. Everybody's put in your path for a reason. And there's just these series of events that connect together to lead them to this. If I had not done this, I would not have found out this, this, and this. And so they have those stories that you go through. And so when I go and visit any ancestors' graves, I'm always asking them, if there's any story that you want me to know about, please lead me or put the people in front of me that I need to talk to in order to find that story that you want brought to light. Actually, I might do that the next time I go visit my second great-grandmother's grave. I've got questions for that woman. I've got a lot of questions with no answers. So I might go. I haven't visited her grave for a while, so maybe I'll go and have another little chat with her. And sometimes they will come through and lead you to a story that you hadn't heard about that ancestor. Other times you just get a sense of peace over you, as though to say, you're done. You don't need to find out any more about me. I'm done. You're done. You found out everything you need to find out. So it's kind of that peaceful feeling that comes over you sometimes when you visit relatives, ancestors' graves and things. Like I said, I love walking through cemeteries. It's just so peaceful, so calming. And if I stop at a grave where I know somebody in that grave or an ancestor that I'm researching and ask them questions, I know that they will lead me to the answers if they want me to know the answers. If they don't want me to know the answers, the sense of peace that comes over me, that kind of gives you, we're done feeling. You've found out what you need to find out, move on. Because there could be some stuff that they just really don't want you to know. Who knows? Need to go visit my second great-grandmother and see if she's changed her mind. Enjoy a genealogy-free day. Sometimes the best way to recharge is to step away entirely, spend time with loved ones, or enjoy your favorite activity unrelated to genealogy. I have had the only time I've looked at genealogy today is to put this together for you guys. I've been off the computer the entire day. Well, except for making the video about Zeffie, I have been off the computer basically the entire day. I've just been on to make the video for Zeffie, and because I forgot to do it yesterday, bad mama, and to do this podcast with you guys today. That's the only thing I have been on the computer for today. I haven't even opened Ancestry or MyHeritage or any of my other family tree sites, done no research whatsoever. Just, it's an unplugged day. Yes, genealogy is one of my most favorite things to do. I love sitting there. I love doing it. There's times I will sit on my computer and my laptop at night, keep a laptop in the family room. So when I'm watching, even if I'm watching a movie, I'll sit there and research, or I'll sit there and knit or crochet. My hands have to be busy. And yes, I will even sit there and read. Brad could never figure out how I could watch a movie and be up with what was happening in the movie while sitting there reading a book. It's just how my brain works. It's just one of those crazy things. And number 12, set intentions for the week ahead. Use the calm of Serenity Sunday to outline gentle, achievable goals for the upcoming week in your genealogy work and ensuring balance and focus. So it's taking that time to go, okay, what project do I want to work on this week? Which ancestor do I want to look at? What information do I want to find out about this person? So it's taking the time to find that one question that you want to spend time on this week for a particular ancestor. Who are you going to contact? Putting that research plan together that we talked about. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yes, I think it was yesterday. We talked about the research plan. Just using that time to say, okay, this is the question we want to ask this week. This is our research plan, and you have it scheduled into your calendar on the days and times that you're going to do that. So just to quickly go over the list again. Number 1, break away from active research. Number 2, review your family tree with fresh eyes. Number 3, write a letter to your ancestor. Number 4, focus on preservation. Number 5, create a reflection journal. Number 6, explore spiritual or cultural roots. Number 7, meditate on family traditions. Number 8, share a family story with someone else. Number 9, create a gratitude list for your ancestors. Number 10, reconnect with nature. Number 11, enjoy a genealogy-free day. And number 12, set your intentions for the week ahead. And with that, we are out of here. Go out, have a super fantastic. Oh, and don't forget to answer the question. If you could spend a peaceful afternoon with one of your ancestors, who would you choose and what questions would you ask them? Go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening. Tomorrow night, we will be on at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, only because I have, it's that 2-week class, that class that I do that we meet every 2 weeks. And so tomorrow night we're doing the meeting of that. So I will be on at 6:30 p.m.